Today's project is a inverted vase. I love experimenting with various vase shapes, and the idea for this one actually came about by accident. After I cut the top of the closed form pot, I threw the cut piece to the reclaimed clay bucket. This piece of clay landed on top of the failed open sugar pot, which was also in the reclaimed bucket. It was perfectly fitted, but in reverse. The result was a completely new and exciting form that sparked my creativity, and thus the inverted vase was born. Creating this vase is excellent practice for mastering the throwing closed forms. The dome part typically ends up thinner in closed forms. When I later cut the top for modification, I can visually analyze my throwing technique, which aids in the subsequent steps. To start, I use 500 grams of stoneware sanded buff clay on a small throwing bat attached to the wheel, making a cone shape to equalize the clay and also to center it. I hold the clay with both hands slightly offset. My right hand concentrates on the bottom of the ring and the small fingers, applying the correct pressure to lift the clay. Now I press the clay with the edge of my right palm from the 5 o'clock position towards the 11 o'clock direction. Meanwhile, my left hand receives the force and stabilizes the clay to prevent it from forming a mushroom shape. Next, I focus on creating a base disc, aiming for a 10-cm diameter to match the size of my 6 fingers. My right hand index and middle finger are keeping the wall straight. When making a center hole, I begin with my right thumb slightly off-center, pushing down towards the center. Then I slide it towards the palm along the bottom. As I open the center, the shifted clay climbs up on the wall. I aim to keep the top of the wall flat at this stage to maintain an even thickness wall. I aim for a bottom thickness of about 4 mm. After achieving the desired thickness, I compress the bottom with a wooden rib to prevent cracking and create a flat surface. I begin the first stretch, applying slight pressure with my right ring finger to the clay. As a groove appears and clay accumulates on top of my finger, I lift my ring finger straight up, guiding the clay upwards. I ensure both thumbs are connected. This subtle gesture alters the throwing process, allowing each hand to sense the action of the other. This hand position is particularly useful for judging wall thickness. Before closing the cylinder, I clean the bottom and internal wall using a handmade wood bar to ensure a smooth finish. I mark a third down from the top as a starting point for squeezing the cylinder. Then my hands form a diamond shape, slowly squeezing the cylinder while sliding it upwards simultaneously. As the clay gathers, it forms a wavy surface. Once my hands reach the top, I pinch the top from both sides with my right hand fingers to smooth the clay. The top is about the size of one finger. I utilize my left middle finger to support the wall from the inside, while my right middle finger shapes the dome. With enough clay to close the top, I push it towards the center without further stretching to avoid uneven thickness. Stretching the clay at this stage could result in thinner top parts compared to the side, potentially leading to slumping. My left middle finger acts as a plug to seal the dome, allowing the inside air to maintain the shape, which in turn facilitates my right finger's shaping task. When I trim the excess clay from the top, I visualize what is occurring inside the vase. If I remove excess clay too early, a small hole may appear that the clay walls were not properly joined. Therefore, I take extra time at this stage, even if it appears that I could cut it already. With the dome completed, I can shape it into a pleasing round form. I trim the bottom corner to reduce the excess clay and cut the edge to ensure the string can cleanly separate the pot from the butt. Trimming the bottom corner and creating a clean circle is essential for later top centering. I reach an important step, creating a small air vent hole. During the drying process, the pot undergoes significant shrinkage. This air vent allows trapped air to escape, preventing cracking. The pot is ready for trimming. The clay's color hasn't changed, and it feels firm when held, indicating it's in an ideal state for trimming this type of the project. I wet the bottom of the pot, then top centering. I press the edge clay to the wheel to secure the pot in place for trimming. I make final adjustment to achieve the desired shape. To separate the vase from the wheel, I slide the metal kidney between them. My left middle finger applies firm pressure to the metal, preventing its edge from cutting into the vase. I proceed to trim the bottom using a greenware chuck, ensuring it sticks well to the wheel by wetting it. I place a round spirit level on the vase and adjust the vase position to center the bubble. I fill gaps with pieces of clay to secure the vase's position. Then tap centering, tapping with my fist due to the weight of the jack. This silver metal spinner consisting of two discs with a bearing between them. The top disc remains stationary while the bottom one spins. One of my favorite tools. I polish the 1 cm foot ring. I use a plastic card to slide towards the center with slight pressure. This action causes the inside of the 1 cm foot ring to become lower than the foot ring, contributing to the stability of the vase. The trimming process is complete, and the next step is to convert the piece into a vase. I'm going to mark a circle. I use a thin blade cutter to cut along the line at a 45-degree angle, pushing the cutter in to avoid pulling and breaking the clay edges. Now I can check the wall thickness and find it to be even, rewarding my attention to the dome part. I clean the inside of the cut piece, as it will now become the front of the vase. I prepare to join the two parts with soft clay made from the same material. I use a toothbrush to create a rough surface at the joint, like a velcro, ensuring a strong bond between the two parts. After filling any gaps with soft clay and smoothing the joints, the vase is almost complete. With a gentle cut, the final touch is made and the inverted vase is ready. Thank you for joining me on this pottery journey. I hope you enjoyed watching this pottery process. Remember to experiment with different shapes and techniques, and feel free to share your experience in the comments below. Happy creating, and I'll see you in the next pottery video.